Hello and welcome to yet another Marvel related video. I've already tried this a few times, so here we go. Um, Today we are ranking MCU and non-MCU Marvel films. Yeah, you're gonna see there are a lot of them. There really are a lot of them. Um, yeah, not only films, also there are also some shows. I'm not gonna be talking that much about the main ones. It's the first time I've ever done a tier list on the channel. So the first time I've ever ranked Marvel movies on the channel and talked about them other than Thunderbolts, of course. If you happen to watch a review that I posted before the movie even came out, because I watched before. But anyways, um, we'll see how it goes. So let's start. Iron Man. Of course, Iron Man was also the first movie of the real life and actual MCU. Um, where shall we put it? A? Yeah, probably A. Yeah, I'll say it's an okay movie. Okay for an Iron Man movie because, of course, it's a native out. More could they ask for? They change the colors here a bit. Um, let's put it like this, and then this. Let's put it orange. Yeah, anyways, for an Iron Man movie, it's okay. For an MCU and Marvel film, it's pretty damn good. I mean, come on. For that time, set up the whole MCU perfectly. It had a very good story. What more can I say? Hulk. Mm, Not the worst film in existence. Not the best, a B tier. And probably would have been easier that Mark Ruffalo from the beginning there, but still good movie, made money, beat here, probably something that you really like to see. Iron Man 2. Now, here's the opinion. Iron Man 2 was better than Iron Man 1. Probably I like the story a little bit more. I think it, not that the MC had really gotten start, it kind of it just felt good for a movie placed that exact moment in the MCU 2 years after the first one. And yes, it was damn well good. Now, Thor is a B-tier movie. I know what you're thinking. Why isn't it a movie? A tier movie? Because I don't think it is as good as no Ragnarok or even the Dark World. Those are better. And the first one, I know it was a really nice story in getting being and being abolished to Earth, but no, not really what I asked for. Captain America, the first Avenger. Now, this is an 8-year movie because it set up the rest of the MCU and the rest of the Captain America trilogy with Steve Rogers perfectly. I mean, you could have had it at the beginning. Something happened in the past, but now knowing about Stark, it helped because we knew who Howard Stark was, and we didn't need to say people shouldn't read the comics. I read comics, I would have probably known if I was alive then, back then. Yeah, yeah. And then Avengers. the first Avengers movie, of course, S tier. What more we can say? Yeah, just sets up the whole MCU again perfectly with the Avengers teaming up for the first time. And I really like the prospect of being a villain from another MCU film into the main Avengers film. And remember, the were only their B team because the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man. I mean, Spider-Man wasn't a team if you exclude the across the Spider-Verse into the Spider-Verse, whatever. But yeah, Fantastic Four and X-Men were probably more popular, and I think they were. Iron Man 3, 8-year movie. I like how Tony just has to manage trauma of now knowing that their gods, their alien things, whatever, invading Earth. Yeah, just amazing. And it's kind of sad to see three Iron Man movies in like 5 years and then nothing until Tony Stark dies 6 years later in movie time, like 11 years later in in like post Infinity War time after Thanos is snap. Same for Hulk. I mean, Mark Ruffalo didn't even get the film for his Hulk. Yeah, kind of interesting choice. Though you could count Ragnarok as maybe close to our film there. Thor: The Dark World is a B tier movie. I don't know. I just don't feel that first two Thor movies were that good. Still, Thor: The Dark World is better than Thor. I think. I mean, I really like the prospect of talk of Loki faking Steph and just Infinity Stone being at risk, and yeah, an invasion of Asgard kind of sets up the invasion of Asgard by Hela and Ragnarok. Now, Captain America the Winter Soldier is an 8-year movie, brings back an not old character, but yeah, Bucky Barnes is an old character. The Winter Soldier isn't in the MCU. I mean, but yeah, I think this movie doesn't need a lot of changing other than the fact that maybe they could have reborn the Shield later on to again manage the Avengers. But I guess Agents of Shield were still around for the series by then, so weren't technically Shield still there? I don't know. Guardians of the Galaxy, the first movie, absolutely wow. I mean, nobody ever thought of actually making Guardians of the Galaxy film until they were restricted to their, let's say, B-tier characters. They eventually got the jump on Spider-Man, and then Disney came around and bought everything, but that's another story. So they came out to the Guardians of the Galaxy and made a thriller out of it. Amazing movie, the origin story, of course, of the Guardians, and just sets up Infinity War Endgame also, and yeah, I liked it. Ultron, the Age of Ultron. S tier movie as probably almost all the Avenger films are. Actually, I think all of them are S tier, yeah. Just, what more can you say? Division, um, bringing new people into the team, just, and fighting an AI. Yeah, just brilliant idea. Ant-Man, again, was for Guardians of the Galaxy. Though Ant-Man, of course, was a character which was in the comics quite frequently mentioned and seen. Yeah, Ant-Man was an interesting movie. the original Scott Lang, what happened to Hank Pym, what happened to John Van Dyne, what can Hope Van Dyne do, and just, I don't know, it just seems like a movie which isn't really connected to it, like Guardians of the Galaxy were. Isn't really connected to, I mean, Thanos was there, so yeah. But other small parts like the Avengers compound battle with Sam Wilson, it didn't connect to the other part, and of course, Shield, but it didn't really connect to the other action that's happening in the world with Age of Ultron and everything. Civil War. Now, this is a good talk and a good movie. We could talk of 1,000 years about this movie. I didn't really like, and 2 3 weeks time I'm gonna post my take on the MCU if Marvel always had the rights to everything. You're gonna see that I'm not gonna include something like Civil War because I don't really like the Avengers fighting or the heroes fighting, but it actually is a great movie and a great storyline because now half of the Avengers are fugitives and they'll only be not called fugitives probably end of Infinity or beginning of Thinking in that 5 year period. Um, Doctor Strange. I always had a feeling until I looked at the date of the release that this movie was actually released. I don't know, 2018, something like that. But then, wow, it was released in 2016. Yeah, anyways, it's a very interesting movie, and the new character is important with the MCU later on. Brilliant story, and finally brings magic it, into the MCU. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Now, now I don't want to just not see that the Guardians of the Galaxy weren't, I don't know, weren't the best in the movie, but I don't really like the plot. I mean, okay, ego, but they could have they could have added more to ego and made him an even more dangerous character, and it would have been more rewarding for them doing that. Mine was also kind of predictable because how did Peter Quill get to actually hold the Infinity Stone without getting pulverized? Yeah, probably people thought of that before Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 even got to its trailers or filming, probably. Now, we go back to something that is not part of the um, MCU, Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man films with Tobey Maguire. Now, the first Spider-Man film is an 8 year movie. I think the first trilogy, because the 3 films, Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire are probably the most comic accurate. That's I'm gonna call them mishaps, but they speared off from the timeline of the comics there a bit. Still though, good movie and actually good visual effects for something made in 2002. I mean, X-Men, which was only made like 2 years earlier. I mean, released in 2002, made earlier, but X-Men, the first X-Men film was just 2 years earlier. And to be honest, I didn't really like the visual effects there. And now, before we continue, you see the haven't watched box. Yeah, there are some things here that I haven't watched. We'll get to them. Now, Spider Man 2. Not as good as the film Spider Man 1, but finally, now few people know who Spider-Man's identities, and yeah, it kind of helps him with Mary Jane, and Sammy did a great job here, and same for Spider-Man 1. I don't think it's great because of course I like the origin story, but yeah, still a great movie. And then Spider-Man 3. I know this movie they were planning to actually include it in the MCU. They didn't. It's a bit-tier film to close up the trilogy. Yeah, it's very interesting because it sets up Venom, and it's actually amazing. It's probably better than Spider-Man 2. Just saying now that people know who he is, things happen. Yeah, he becomes uh, like a he has a darker mentality, like influenced by the symbiote and everything. Yeah. Now coming on into Andrew Garfield films, we have the amazing Spider-Man. I think we'll get to the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Let me just find it and well, if it's not on a tier list, I'll tell you it's probably a C tier movie because you know, just they had everything in it. Gwen Stacy dying, um, multiple villains, everything was perfect at first glance, and then the mid movie and it sucked. Again, a C tier. One now, Spider-Man 1, the Amazing Spider-Man 1. We finally know this is probably the only, I think it's the only version that actually shows what really happened to Peter's parents, and that's why it is an 8 year movie. Also, it kind of explores his origin stories again. So I did not really like how Uncle Ben died. It's not really that comically accurate. Oh no, actually, I was actually blind. This is Spider-Man to the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man Homecoming, the first after Sony had that agreement, the first Spider-Man film to be in the MCU, the third version. Yeah, what can I say? I think it's a B-tier movie. Homecoming were just made after Civil War, and I don't think it had the best ideas there. Could have been, yeah, no. But I think they could have changed the villain or something. Still not bad, not bad. But it kind of felt like something was missing from my perspective. Now, I've talked about this before. Thor Ragnarok. This is an S tier movie. This is the first movie to not include all the Avengers. Why? Because the story is brilliant compared to the first two Thor films, and you'll see the other one, Love and Thunder, when we get to it. It's actually nice, and it's actually from 8 year, for me it's amazing film. I mean, no, from B tier it's amazing film, but from 8 year excellent film. B tier is amazing film. S tier of course is super film, best of the best. C tier is okay film. D tier is bad film. F is why did I even watch this, and haven't watched, of course. I didn't even watch the film. Black Panther. Rest in peace of Chadwick. Very good movie. 8 year. I mean, come on, just sets up this few months before Infinity War released to have the final battle being the same final battle as in the same place as Infinity War. Yeah, very nice. But also, I would plot is nice, But also, I would have put the Black Panther film a little bit earlier, and probably delayed Doctor Strange. Because, Wakanda has been mentioned in like, Way to Full and then Black Panther appeared in 2016, and I was kind of waiting for a film, and people are kind of waiting 2016, 2017, a film could have been, I don't know, earlier. They still ended up nicely, as I said. And also could have been called Civil War, but probably that was already taken. Infinity War, and then I think Endgame. Two very, very easy choices. Both S tier, two of the highest grossing movies of all time. Amazing. Man, I mean, Thanos is probably my favorite villain from the MCU and probably from Marvel films and shows so far. And probably is my favorite character, to be honest, because I liked how they focused Infinity War on him, and then Endgame was just getting back to normality. And of course, big team at the end of Endgame was probably historic and one of the best shots in movie history. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Now, I wouldn't say this is a bad film, but compared to the first Ant-Man movie, no. Um, I could have made probably the ghost isn't that bad. I would probably made the I don't know bigger villain. I don't know something. Yeah, very probably something bigger like aim name villain or I don't know the mole man. Actually the mole man is from the Fantastic Four, but yeah, something like that. Captain Marvel, B tier movie again. You'll see I'm putting out of movies in B C tiers. Now this film sets up nicely in game, but I don't think it's the best film there is. I like the character and with so much history explored and with the quid, the scrolls, everything. Also, like that, it finally answers some questions. For example, why Avengers is the name of the group? Why Nick Fury really wanted to make it? Why did he like almost lose vision in an eye? Why? And also, this actually if if that is for people which watch chronologically, not from release order. It kind of teases them into what's happening up next. Far From Home is a BTR movie because I didn't really like Mysterio, to be honest, but still really nice and just seeing Peter Parker evolve, get girlfriend, and yeah, amazing. Hope that Holland doesn't have the same Spider-Man actor, of course, with Zendaya. I don't know. Venom, I haven't watched any of those, but I don't think I'll watch them because from what I hear, they aren't that good of movies. Yeah, WandaVision. Now, this isn't actually good, so it ain't bad. Why? Probably wouldn't start in the 1950s, likely just putting someone, I don't know what's happening, how we get here. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Also, kind of saves up the love that started back in Civil War. Now, this is probably the hottest take and the most controversial take of them all. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, a nastier series. Why? Because I absolutely love it. I think it was the first Disney destinated series. It also was absolutely amazing. He set up Captain America Brave New World. He set up Thunderbolt. He set up, oh, just is that Bradley amazing. I might even set up the Young Avengers. Just saying. And the villains, some like Sam Wilson says, some misguided teenagers. Very interesting because they're villains, but at the same time, they're kind of passive villains. Like, you don't really want to hurt anybody, but at the same time, yeah. Loki, season 1. Very interesting. Um, yeah, BTR. Dropping it in the TV first for that it didn't go that well, but then Sylvie started to just like appear, and then we saw the version of Kang at the end. He Who Remains. Actually, it was a pretty nice ending. That probably saves it from a C tier one. Now, before we continue on, let's see something. Daredevil, Punisher, Daredevil, the Netflix shows. I mean, I haven't watched them. Punisher. No, actually, that's no, I'm Blade. I'm Blade in this, and the film from 2008. I mean, yeah. Um. Okay, let's start to pick up the pace a bit here. Black Widow, nice film. Probably would have worked better if it was made in 2016, 17 after Civil War. Still, though, kind of finally sees what happened in Budapest. So, BTR movie. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Brilliant film. I don't know why I didn't continue with this character before Doomsday with another film, but I don't know, fun dropping into this Asian side and the theories that we saw from the beginning of the MCU is amazing. Yeah. Um Eternals. No, I don't know why they made a full 2 hour and a half and more and even more film on some people. I mean, set up because America Brave New World. There's a lot of films do set up other films, especially in the MCU, but other than that, it's kinda useless so far in the MCU. Hawkeye is a very nice series, and you're noticing that have a lot of films and series in A and B. That's because Marvel doesn't really do that bad of like features. You'll see probably you're gonna see that there's there's something in D tier and there's probably something in F tier too. But Hawkeye actually not bad. Seeing somebody teach somebody their skills is amazing, and also sets up Echo. It just sets up the Young Avengers, and now actually a very good um series with multiple villains. I like it. Spider-Man Far From Home. No, actually, No Way Home. You know, this is a B tier movie, and the reason is that No, it's not bad. It connects all the three Spider-Man universes and its villains. But I don't really like the thing that Peter Parker gets just deleted from everyone's minds. Just think, Moon Knight. Moon Knight is sit here. Series is not that bad, but not that good. Maybe we will see him in Doomsday. Maybe we will not. Don't really care. A lot of people that don't really care. We finally get to something that is not in the MCU. X-Men. The original one from 2000, which I said that pretty bad visual effects in my opinion. However, it's a A-tier movie because just amazing. Come on. The first actual team that we'll probably see with a few additions, plus or minus in Doomsday, the first movie team, fighting Magneto, classic X-Men. Same for X-Men 2, another 8 year, the 8 year film. X-Men The Last Stand is different, but that doesn't make it a weaker film. It's still an 8 year film, and this and making mutants not mutants as interesting and a good idea. Um, for film, but of course it didn't really make them not mutants, but that's a whole different story for from another movie that we're gonna be probably discussing. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is a B tier movie because I compared to the first Doctor Strange film, it was kind of a letdown. I know Scarlet Witch is a good story, but yeah, in general, it's a letdown. Miss Marvel sets up the Marvels just for a young superhero. It's a really good show, but no, I don't think it's really that good. So it's a C tier. One C tier is also Love and Thunder. How can Thor franchise go from one film next year to one film in C tier? This is how they just made a really really bad film, and though the ideas and just how the film was going to go with was still and is a good idea, I don't think they really put it into play that good. Now I was telling you about the teacher series, She-Hulk Attorney's Law. Don't get me wrong, I really like having a second hero Hulk, but very bad. Um, Series Werewolf by Night, coming from Romania, werewolves, vampires, whatever. Not that bad. Kind of a special C tier. Not bad, not good. Okay. Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Not as good the first one, but seeing the evolution of Wakanda, seeing a lot of death, seeing Shuri become the Black Panther, seeing Namor, which just sets up Doomsday. It's amazing. And that's why it deserves a B tier. Now, the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. I'm not really a fan of specials, but I'll say it's passes into a C tier. Quantumania. If they continue with the Kang Dynasty, it would have been an even better film. Still an 8 tier film, still good, and still they like the evolution of Lang's family, the evolution of Pin's family, what Jane Valentine did there like 30 years. Yeah. Now, Volume 3 of Guardians of the Galaxy. Many people consider it the best film since Endgame. Well, some things, something. I don't think so. I don't really like the story and I don't really like the movie, so it's a C tier. That's just because they're the Guardians of the Galaxy, and They're fun characters. Secret Invasion had potential, had a lot of potential, had a hell lot of potential for an Avengers film, and even less. Still, though, it's B tier because who doesn't really want to see Nick Fury and bunch of minor characters beat a whole birth invasion by some scrolls. Loki season 2 and by themselves. Nick Fury and the other man, like overrated characters, let's say like that. Loki season 2 is an 8 year one because it just has a perfect example of how it needs a perfect example of how the multiverse affects things and just yeah, it's amazing. And his self-sacrifice at the end is also one of the best things I've ever seen and best shots I've ever seen. Same with in-game. Come on, man. I mean, the Marvels. What did they do wrong? Other than introduce us into the X-Men universe, they really did nothing good. I mean, two characters which come from series which people which don't have this plus haven't heard of, and one character which hasn't been on screen for actually on screen in 4 years. No, that's not good. Echo. This had a lot of potential. Us, it could have been a very good follow up to Hawkeye and the character story, but I don't think it ended up as good as it was on paper. Now, let's have a few films out of the MCU before we come back. The Fantastic Four, the first version in like 20 years ago. Now, the original version with Doctor Doom, I think these two films really are nice, and both of them deserve 8 year. As I would have actually liked to see this like be- becoming a trilogy and so on. Amazing, yeah, and yeah, eventually got replaced. This new Fantastic Four film I didn't really like, though it was a little bit more comic accurate. Their origin story. Oh, and by the way, in Rise of the Silver Surfer, of course, Galactus shouldn't be a cloud, and this is one of the biggest mistakes that a film has ever made. For talking about a film which is based on comic books. X-Men Origins Wolverine. Now, this is not a bad film at all. It's a B tier film, and what can I say? Just it gives us the origins of the X-Men. Amazing. X-Men first of Wolverine, and then the origins of X-Men are presented in X-Men first. Cause I didn't really like the movie that much. I like seeing now the young X-Men firstly come onto the big screen, being 3 or 4 future movies. But yeah, a B tier movie as well. Days of the Future Past. Now this with time travel is an 8 year movie. It's amazing, and it connects two alternative universes. Now, Apocalypse. You know, that isn't that bad. The film isn't that bad. We see the first mutant come to life, and it's not bad at all. It's amazing, actually, and that's in That's why it's an 8 year. Compared to what people say, I mean. Now, The Dark Phoenix is not a good movie. It's okay. I think that this is also the most recent X-Men film, but I think that they should have made changes, probably. I don't know, to the. I think the story is nice, but probably to the film, they could have illustrated the story better. Now, Deadpool. Deadpool is the first Deadpool movie. Is an 8 year movie because this character is so likable that you cannot not like him. Logan, I actually really like this movie, and it just not getting into S tier. This is an amazing movie. It shows in the future. It shows how Logan dies in that universe, and it's completely different to other films. I know the Wolverine. I don't think it's on this list, but that will be probably around the B tier too, because it's an okay movie. But I thought the use of Japanese culture was too much, a bit too much. Now, Deadpool 2, again, a likable character. X Force, something that could have been made into a movie of its own. 8 year again. Deadpool and Wolverine, combining two characters, getting $2+ billion. Amazing. In terms of the film, though, I don't think it's as good as the other two Deadpool films, and it goes into a bit here because I think the use of four breaks was too much, and I think that, yeah, I mean, I liked the use of TV for the first time in an actual movie, but no, actually, I didn't really like it. The whole plot, I don't know, whatever. Agatha, all along. I don't really like seeing minor characters in comics becoming, I don't know, main character in a series or something. So that's why I don't really like Agatha. Guardians of the Galaxy were one thing, Agatha is another thing. It, I don't think it is that good. Now, Daredevil. Before we get to the final two films, Daredevil is a C tier. It's the only with Daredevil show that I've watched, season of a show that I've watched, and I'll say it's decent, but again, okay. Captain America, C tier. No, I don't know about you, but come on, this movie is kinda bad. It's a little bit too short, I think, for Captain America movie. Also, I don't think the story is that good. With a little improvement, it can turn into an 8 year movie easily. An 8 year movie is the youngest, the most recent movie, the New Avengers or the Thunderbolts, whatever you wanna call it. You've watched my review about it, you know about it. So this is my complete tier list. I'll probably post a video the morning or the day after I record it, so I know. One thing my opinion can change in a day. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.